Yeah, I got my family. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Yes, baby. Yes. You got to keep doing what? Connecting the dots across the diaspora. Today I got a double dose of Cuba. I don't even leave it on that one. And I'll use this as a dolly.
You have a dolly for that?
No, I'll go from here to here.
Okay, that's good.
Or I can cheat back here. And cheat and get both. And I'm good. Oh.
Gracias.
That's it. I'm not talking to you. You put ice in my water, Lord.
Oh, you don't want ice? I can take it out.
I will leave you.
I'll get past one pain and just deal with the water.
Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
You know carpal tunnel fun?
So, no, I had carpal tunnel on this one. This is tendinitis.
Okay.
It's all due to the rheumatic arthritis. Yes. The inheritance. This is why I inherited from my parents and my
No money.
No money.
Use this. I will have a choice in the old way.
This is my way. Yeah. So I don't know if Brenda told you, but I was raised in Cuba by a black man, a mulatto.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mulatto.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, his mother was black, and my brother, the brother that I grew up with, because we're only 2 years apart. He's half black. I mean, and I have a tight link to two black Cubans because I lived it. I know what it's like.
Yes.
You know, I don't talk about it from the sidelines or not knowing. Like I lived.
Yeah.
And still live, because you can still get to tell the stories.
Absolutely. But, one of the things that I've had conversations with...
I will set up my camera. I am hearing you.
Yes.
I'm here.
Absolutely.
Because he'll end up with his translation. Me, I'm just the bee in the room.
I've had conversations with black Americans, and the reason they don't understand is because they don't have enough information.
Bam.
It's that simple.
And it's always a separatism.
That's why we are here.
Separatism.
We have the information. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
And
when I make part of this in my interviews, I ask them about that because they start criticizing because a lot about this is misunderstanding. So they start criticizing capitalism, and I ask them, okay, when you criticize capitalism, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Are you a socialist? I say, no. Capitalism is what I know, and I criticize what I know.
Right.
So this is a big difference.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a capitalist because I'm an economics major. I mean, I believe in generational wealth. I am building a future for my children. That doesn't stop me from doing good things for others. and Brenda can tell you. I mean, I fight.
Fight's good fight.
Fight the fight. For all Hispanics. Because there's a very big inequality here in South Carolina.
Everywhere.
Very big.
Let's see, and then again, when we look at different regions, remember we were talking about the issue of having the masses of numbers that are capable of becoming a voice. Mm-hmm. When you don't have the masses of numbers, you have opportunities for all the smaller groups to get together and make a larger voice. That's why which term are we using? Our Hispanic and Latin. See, it's Hispanic, it's Latinx. It's the whole damn region whose commonality happens to be the Spanish language here in the Lowcountry. That makes them different.
But let me tell you that it wasn't like that. 10 years ago when we moved here, I experienced, for the first time in my life, I experienced what it was like to feel Hispanic here in South Carolina.
Okay.
Here, because of course I come from Miami. There's no difference there. You're just accepted for
no Latin America.
Right. You're just accepted. You're Cuban and you're part of it. I also lived in LA, which again, so the cultural shock when I got here was huge.
When you came to America.
Exactly.
There's America, then there's America. When you start driving down Main Street, USA, it gets different.
It is incredible. It is incredible. And still today, I find myself in meetings where I'm the only Hispanic woman in the room. And there are maybe 2, 3, 4 black people in the room.
And then when you check the other numbers, like, whoo.
Right.
But then we remember we live in this region where, now I know I can comfortably say, and I'm sorry, I don't know the Hispanic numbers, but if in the region for Charleston County is 17%, or city of Charleston is 17% black or African American, what are the percentage numbers for the Hispanic, Latino?
I don't have those numbers,
and
I know they've grown in the last years. The last few years we've seen an outrageous growth. Outrageous.
And that's in all levels of economics. Yeah. My mailman is here from the Bronx.
Yeah.
With his entire family.
We've got a lot of migration from up north,
and
from
Miami,
New York, and Miami, and Los Angeles,
and directly from certain countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
No leapfrogging.
Oh no! But Venezuelans are coming directly here. Yes.
It's like
absolutely.
And that's the makeup of the Lowcountry.
That is the
makeup of the Lowcountry. Some electricity is not that much.
Oh sure. Then we've got back there. There's one.
There's one right by me.
Oh my goodness, he's got a whole set.
Yeah, he ran out of batteries. He ran out of stuff with Elder Carly Town. Yeah. No, with Ann Caldwell.
Ann Caldwell. How's she doing?
Even this car is
good. Is she still singing?
Yes, actually she'll be on the 14th. Fox Music. They're doing something. She just sent the flyer for that. I'll send that one to you. But like Ann has this little card that lists all these things that she does, and at the bottom it says, "I can sing too." And she's got
wonderful.
a children's book coming out.
Yes.
Going to see a man about a cow.
Wow.
So we're looking at
awesome.
a last draft with some stuff in it yesterday, and we're just talking about the issue of, when you got to your 30s, what you thought life would be, and because she was playing around with the drum, and she's like, when you got to your 40s, but see, when you get to like 70, none of that matters. She says, I've got more time behind me than I have ahead of me.
Yeah, of course.
So you got to do things. There's no. It's not a measure of being impatient.
Well, for me,
just getting things done.
I'm in my 50s, and I'll be honest with you, I don't see enough time. Because I don't want to leave this world knowing that my grandchildren are going to be worse off than what we were.
Why are you trying to be out of the shot? See, I have the overall of the two of you.
She wants to have you.
He has you. I have the overall. That's how this goes.
For me, it's it's important that we get as much done as we can before we leave, because I don't want to leave my grandchildren worse off. You understand?
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Brenda, you can understand Spanish. So, vamos a hacerlo en español
Okay,
porque
claro.
esto es para
Okay.
un hispano. ¿Desde cuándo tú vives en Hello?
Okay. I didn't know I was going to be on TV.
¿Desde cuándo tú vives aquí en South
En South Carolina, Charleston, desde el 2000, bueno, 12, desde el 2012.
Ok. ¿Cómo entraste en contacto con la cultura Gullah Geechee?
Brenda. Brenda.
Where was that?
Brenda. Where did we meet, Brenda?
See, didn't I was in the car saying that. I'm trying to remember where the heck we met.
I know, it's been a long time.
Was
pero
it,
no me acuerdo.
Because there would be meetings for folks from different places. I don't know if it was through Lorna. There was some, I don't know.
Ay, no me acuerdo. No me acuerdo. Because la primera reunión que yo asistí aquí fue el cross-cultural meetings.
Bam.
So, it might be that. También fui parte del Caribbean Festival. Todavía soy parte del Caribbean Festival with Lorna. No, I still.
Espérate, nosotros tenemos un Caribbean Festival aquí.
Sí, todos los años.
Listen, we have a festival for everything. We have an occasion for everything.
We have
Okay, bueno.
Listen.
Okay.
Sí.
All right.
En todos los junios, hacía ya, este fue el primer año después de COVID, porque hacía ya 2 años que no se hacían, pero todos los junios, alrededor del 15, se hace una parada completa con todos los diferentes...
And then she didn't say anything about the Latin American Festival, of which I've been here for 12 years and I've yet to go to the Latin American Festival.
I have to come to cover it.
It's really big.
I have to come to cover it.
Yes.
Okay.
It is really big.
Pero,
we have a lot of fun.
Volviendo al punto.
Sí.
Cuando tú encuentras la singularidad de Charleston, el problema de la cultura Gullah Geechee, ¿sí? ¿Cómo tú relacionas eso con el resto de Norteamérica?
Es diferente. Creo que se parece mucho a nuestras raíces.
Okay.
You know? Pero no, yo no conozco suficiente las raíces americanas, por decir, o sea, de los Estados Unidos. He leído mucha historia, pero, o sea, no crecí en ella.
Okay.
¿Me explico?
Sí, sí.
O sea, por eso es que, bueno, para mí, I link it a lo que yo conozco, ¿no?
Okay.
Que es, yo nací en regla. Okay, so yo en mi casa siempre habían babalaos, había, o sea, la santería estaba y sigue estando, es parte de nuestras raíces,
Okay.
es parte de todo lo que somos.
A mí lo que me llamó la atención es que el corredor Gullah Geechee funciona aquí como de manera similar a el corredor negro de Matanzas.
Ah, mira.
En Cuba.
Ya.
¿No? ¿Y por qué esto es importante? Porque eso pone una presión ontológica, no una cuestión de identidad, sino ontológica sobre la cultura del país.
Claro.
Por eso la cultura cubana es abiertamente sincrética, nadie puede negarlo. Sin embargo, nosotros no entendemos a Estados Unidos, creemos que Estados Unidos es un país blanco con un problema racial,
Sí,
y no que es un país con dos culturas colisionando.
Sí.
No, que no se llevan bien y están las dos una puesta sobre la otra.
Right.
No, una tiene dinero, la otra no.
Sí.
Pero independientemente de eso, las dos tienen el mismo poder,
Claro.
porque están en la vida de las personas.
Exactamente.
That's the difference when culture is a way of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not a badge that you put on, and it doesn't become. It's not the clothes that you wear. It's in your blood. It's in your heart. It's in your rhythm. It's in your wherever, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, tú dijiste algo importante, porque esto yo lo estoy haciendo como introducción para los cubanos.
Sí.
Si el mundo hispano no sabe qué cosa es Gullah Geechee, no tiene idea de que eso existe. Pero tú dijiste algo importante. El problema de los afro-norteamericanos con Cuba es que ellos no saben, no
tienen suficiente información.
No tienen suficiente información.
Claro, ¿qué pasa? Que el régimen ha enviado la propaganda equivocada a su favor.
No, lo hace a propósito.
A propósito, a su favor.
De hecho,
claro.
el gobierno cubano tiene la página Afro-Cuban Web. Nosotros no tenemos nada similar.
No, exactamente.
Y que es capaz de coordinar toda una personalidad negra de Cuba que en Cuba no la ves.
Exactamente.
Que en
sí.
Cuba no la ves.
A ver, yo sí entiendo que la revolución trajo muchas advances a los negros cubanos. O sea, sí, en realidad pudieron estudiar más personas, pudieron tener un poco más de lo que tenían. O sea, yo creo que no somos iguales. Esto de que todos somos iguales y que eso no es correcto. Además, porque todavía hoy por hoy en Cuba hay mucha diferencia entre el blanco y el negro, primero, y entre dentro de los mismos negros,
sí,
el negro intelectual y el negro, como usted dijo. Sí. O sea, hay mucha diferencia, todavía hoy por hoy. Claro, la diferencia, yo creo que la diferencia para mí, porque Brenda lo sabe, yo no tengo ojos de diferencia en color. ¿Me explico? O sea, sí. La diferencia yo creo que para nosotros que nos criamos en Cuba, dentro de nuestra cultura, cuando yo vine para los Estados Unidos, acá sí se ve una diferencia en color. Allá no. Allá hay una diferencia, puede ser una diferencia intelectual, puede ser una diferencia económica, de clase, pero no de color como tal. Porque mis mejores amigas en Cuba eran negras. Mi padrastro era negro y es el hombre que más he adorado yo en este mundo. El mejor amigo de mi padre, que vivía prácticamente en mi casa, era negro. O sea, no teníamos la diferencia entre el color, pero sí, por supuesto.
Hay una cosa que es real, y es que la cultura hispana no es que no sea racista, sino que su racismo es integracionista. No te segrega, no te permite vivir al margen. Mientras que el racismo anglo-norteamericano es segregacionista. Esto allá y yo acá.
Exacto.
Además, en la cultura cubana confluyeron elementos que contribuyeron a la integración, como es el caso del gallego y el chino, claro, que inmediatamente se integraron, porque eran tan pobres, se integraron con la marginalidad negra y crearon el mestizo cubano, que es único.
Claro.
Ese papel en Estados Unidos lo cumplieron los irlandeses, que contribuyeron a la segregación, claro, porque usaron una ventaja racial, claro, a su favor. Sí, estaban económicamente depauperados y usaron una ventaja racial. Bien, eso es humano, todo eso, claro, es comprensible. Solo nos da dos tipos de cultura. Eso no quiere decir que no sea que sea menos racista.
Claro, no, definitivamente.
Que está estructurado de manera distinta.
Diferente. Voy a bajar un poquito el aire, perdonen un momentito. Dame un segundito, ustedes después lo pueden editar.
Sí.
Hay un calor que ya estoy sudando. No sé cómo si ustedes no tienen calor, pero yo estoy.
Quizás como venimos a la calle.
Ya.
Entonces, lo que yo quiero, sí, y tú me puedes ayudar mucho en esto, claro, y sobre todo ahora que sé que eres de Somos Más, sí, me puedes abrir todo un capítulo en eso, sí, es que el negro cubano entienda que hay que comprender al negro norteamericano, hay que caminar sus zapatos. De
hecho, una de las cosas, y Brenda te puede decir, de que yo he hecho aquí localmente, es integrarme con la cultura negra. O sea, yo tengo grupos que yo soy la única blanca, yo me integro mucho, y me integro con los blancos, con los hispanos y con los negros. Yo creo que por eso es que yo he podido avanzar tanto, porque sí, yo no tengo diferencia, o sea, yo no, claro, entonces, y muchas veces les digo a los cubanos, todos los cubanos tienen que entenderlos.
Porque además es el único modo en que te van a oír. Si tú no los entiendes, no te van a oír.
Claro. Claro.
Eso es todo.
Esto.
Es decir, cuando un cubano se para a hablarle a los miembros norteamericanos, ellos están escuchando un racista por principio.
Sí. Es así.
Por principio.
Es así, desgraciadamente.
Entonces tú tienes que demostrar que tú no eres racista, que tú sabes de lo que él está hablando, tú sabes lo que le duele, que es lo mismo que a ti te duele, y entonces te va a oír.
Pero es que también hay mucha desinformación del lado acá. O sea, el cubano no entiende porque no sabe la historia americana, del negro americano.
Okay.
Y ahí es donde
Pero
también...
de quién es el fallo, es decir,
I gotta swing it back around a hot
Okay,
second before you lose
veamos.
sight. He asked you a question and you began. You said you continued to tell the story of the 9-year-old. Because then, because see,
You want me to tell it in Spanish or in English?
it's you're speaking of both worlds. Whatever is comfortable.
Tuyo.
Let your spirit speak. Because your
So
Spanish
I
is
actually,
going to say
Brenda knows I actually wrote an essay because I wanted to write down my memories before I forget of that 9-year-old. I wanted to tell the story from the 9-year-old side of what it was to come from Cuba and what we went through to get here. We were tuvimos 3 días en el mosquito. So I saw things that I don't ever want to remember, but I constantly challenge myself to, because I want people to not forget. Because even today's generational of Cubans don't know those stories. So if I don't tell them, if I don't talk, I have this big saying that if you don't know where you're coming, you don't know where you're going to go. And history has a tendency to repeat itself because we don't know our history. We don't know we've already been there.
Trying to see where you were with that. Okay.
What is it?
I don't want to have to hit it. But this 9-year-old,
Yes,
she wrote the essay.
she did. She wrote an essay and telling her story, and as she was writing this essay, she realized it wasn't just her story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a story of many children that came during that time. It was a story of her parents, mostly her mother, how her mother basically was disposed of her soul. My mother never went back to Cuba. She's never stepped foot back in, even with her mother living there, because it was just too much for her, and she was never the same person. I had a mother in Cuba and I had another mother in the United States. 2 different people.
I can understand.
And so, because of all the traumatic experiences that I went through, when I got here to the United States, basically when we went to California, to Los Angeles, I stopped speaking, and I had to learn 2 years after. I had to learn to speak from scratch. That's why you don't hear a lot of accent in my English. Not because I'm better than anyone else, it's just that I had to learn my ABCs in English.
So you're the Cuban, I know why the cage bird sing.
Yes.
Now, when we speak of this story, will you now that you have grandchildren or a grandchild, will you now tell this story in a children's version?
I am actually, my daughter gave me a book to tell my story to my granddaughter. That was my Mother's Day present. It was the best present I've had. So I'm hoping that I will be able to do that from a standpoint where they would be able to understand it.
Una novela de Iskra. You see, we don't know the stories. The modern day folks here in 2022, let's date and time stamp this, August 15th, 2022. They hear of a boat every now and then coming up to Florida and what the American government does, whether we're going to hold on, incarcerate, or decide, okay, we're going to send you back. They don't know history of flotillas and movement.
And this is actually, and I tell this all time and time again, this is not just a Cuban history. This is American history. You had 125,000 Cubans migrate to the United States in 3-4 months time. I mean,
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. This changed the history of our country, of this country. The Mariel Boatlift changed the history of America. It's part of our history. And it's not in any books. It's not, it's nowhere to be found. And, we need to tell those stories. And like mine, there's thousands, obviously, but of course, I tell mine. This is the one I know. And I know that it relates to a lot of other people.
Let me ask you something. Have you processed the word sin? Have you processed it? It is synthesized in your life? Or you are still struggling?
I still struggle with it. To be honest with you, the first time when I wrote this story a couple of years back, within my family, we've never talked about it. We never talked about what we went through. We never talked about the mosquito. Even in our family, 13 of us came from in our family members. 13 people. Of those 13, 5 of us were my generation. We were kids. We had, my little cousin was 3 years old, and my oldest cousin was 10. So between 3 and 10, 5 children. And we never talked to each other about it. When I posted my story, my essay on Facebook, my cousins put comments on it that they still have nightmares from that.
So when
we've never talked about it.
Mental health.
We've never talked about it. So I think these are stories that need to be told because we need to get them out. It's for us and for others.
Okay, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And that will also help to fill in. I was going to use another word, but that word wasn't right. To fill in the gaps in the story of the Cuban immigrant and who that person is. We have various, because everybody wants to give us a story of who entered where, when, why, and what time.
Right.
And we know that, okay, then this part of history, and we interred the Japanese, and then they made it through, and then you have those that you did with the Chinese. But this is modern day today.
Listen, Brenda, when I came here in 1980, there was so much discrimination against the people that were coming with us.
Yes.
That when I entered the 3rd grade, I remember it was the first time I ever slapped a little boy. Because he tried to touch my behind. We were the garbage. We were, we were here to take away everybody's jobs. We were, because that's obviously part of what the Cuban government information that was being sold, right? So we were, very discriminated upon. Not just by Americans, also by Cubans. By Cubans from previous generations, by the Cubans that came in the 60s. So it wasn't just, by Americans.
But the Cubans that came in the 60s were discriminated.
Yes, of course. Of course. But then they discriminated against us. They did.
Mm-hmm.
They did. Of course they did.
As we did with the 94.
With the 94. Of course, and it continues.
It's like we turned it into a very strange migrational rite of passage.
Yes.
That's what it becomes.
Yes.
We're not, no, we didn't have it easy. Yes, we had some laws change. Yes, we had some things happen, but no, it's not going to be that easy for you to come in.
well,
while you're here, we're not going to make it that easy for you to deal with the assimilation process, because that's what they don't prepare a lot of people for.
I think currently, like right now, I'm having to deal with. I just came from Cuba through Mexico, and I'm dealing with that right now. And the difference is, when we came from Cuba, we knew we were leaving. We didn't know when we were coming back, or if we were ever coming back. We were psychologically prepared to never come back.
That's true.
Right?
I have it clear. I will never come back. I told everybody I will not come back.
Right. So my parents, didn't go back. My grandparents didn't go back. They died hoping to go back to a free Cuba.
But nothing else.
But nothing else. The difference now is they're asking political asylum to the United States,
to come back.
And yet a year and one day after, they're back in Cuba.
Okay, but you can see the same struggle. But you can see the same struggle with the people that came in the 60s. When they saw the people that came in the 94 that were willing to come back to Cuba as tourists.
Right. It was unethical. And I was hoping for a change when Obama, when I was all for it. We all were. We wanted.
Who don't?
Right. I dreamed of it. I was so happy to see, the United States flag when the embassy opened. It was a whole ceremony. Brenda knows. We opened a bed and breakfast in Cuba. We helped the people around us, to sell them, and unfortunately, Cuba didn't hold their side of the bargain.
we were naive.
Yes, we were.
Okay, but even Black Americans get disappointed. Right? Even Black Americans get disappointed. I saw from the beginning.
Right.
Okay, of course I was glad, but
I was skeptical too at the beginning.
No. I was glad. My process, I compared it to that of Colin Powell.
Right.
Okay, we now we have a president.
Right.
We have a black person there. So, but that's all we have. Nothing else.
It's a president. It's like, listen, the color's not gonna matter right now.
And we even pay a lot
to get in there.
To get the president, because it's the deception of everybody else.
Right.
But okay, now we have a president. Before that, we don't have a president.
No.
And we can say we pay a lot. Okay, nobody knows how much it costs to send a president. Okay, so now we have a president. So it's okay. I will not complain. I have a president, but don't tell me nothing else besides that.
No, because we need to control Congress. We need to control Senate. We need to control the state houses across the country.
Well, but I think, look, and that's what makes this country what it is, right? There is a separation of duties. There, you have to have that. You have to have that.
Yeah, that's it. And you have to fight. It will cost you your life.
Yes.
You have to have it.
Right. But imagine in a world like Cuba where the government controls everything. There's no way to do it.
It is hard to fathom. I see people making trips to Cuba, whether it's from various different islands or other countries, and they're going to Cuba, and then you're hearing of the reality of the various types of rationing and this, that, and the other that is going on. I'm like, how are you continually showing me this great tourist shots in the midst of what appears to be rationing on simple...
Because they don't walk 3 or 4 blocks to the other side of Cuba.
Yeah, because see, I'm not trying to go to the sweet spots.
No,
I already done told him. Like,
reality, the only way is to bring the jump the wire.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you can see, because it's time for people to ask, when Asian people complain, when they come to Cuba by accident, they complain that they want to go back to Haiti.
Exactly. If Haitians want to go back to Haiti, because they don't like how they're being treated in Cuba, imagine.
Wow.
Exactly. They want to go back to Haiti. They complain to Cuban government because they want to be sent back to Haiti.
Right.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It's you know, when we talk about third world countries, we don't put Cuba in the mix. But Cuba is worse.
Hang on.
Cuba is the poor country.
Yeah.
Run that one again.
When we talk
about third world countries,
we don't put Cuba in the mix because they've done such a great job. You know.
Yeah. Cuba is the poor world country.
But it's worse.
Yeah.
Then the third world countries. Look, the people that are coming now, that are immigrating now, they're going through Nicaragua and they're going through all of these places, and in the middle of nowhere, they have realized that there's food, there is a supermarket where they can go freely and buy things.
Yes.
And they can find all their necessities. And I'm talking about rural areas. And yet in my country, you can't do that.
But you can see their material in YouTube. You can see when you ask children in Cuba what you want to be when you grow up, they say, I want to be a foreigner. I want to be a puta.
I want to be a tourist. That's what they want to grow up to be.
I want to be a tourist. I want to be a hook. All right? A girl of 9 and 11 years old is telling, I want to be a hook because I can't get the foreigner money. With that rationality. They say that with that rationality. Okay? I want to be a jinetero. A child of 10 years old telling you, I want to be a jinetero.
Yeah.
It's not engineer, no doctor, no teacher, no president, no cosmonaut, just hooks, jinetero, tourists.
Well, because they've seen their parents that have gone to the university, they've become doctors, they've become lawyers, they become all of this, and they're now nothing.
Yeah.
And they have nothing.
Yes.
But then, of course, you know, the people that are in these other types, they have everything.
You know, the person that is at this watcher here is sending money to the doctors there, to the family who is a doctor or an engineer.
Right.
It's
that's what people don't understand. That's the mentality we need to change, because
remittances change everybody's life. Okay?
But the remittances are going to the higher class people. They're not going to the black poor people.
So
now the difference in economic scales is bigger. So I see a bigger gap now
than before. Okay, now when you talk to people say, "But you can become a doctor in Cuba." So what? For what? I
was about to say you have darn good medical schools and things. What country? One country I saw the other day
sending money from the watching niches in Miami.
Was it Nigeria? I think it was Nigeria said they weren't taking any more foreign medical students. It was one of the countries that said, listen, we're not taking any more foreign medical students because we just need to train our own, because we keep losing our numbers because they're migrating.
So Cuba doctors became an exchange for Fidel. He did it very well in the 60s. He started in Africa. You know, so when he saw how much he was gonna make from this, he capitalized on it.
Yes,
and it's still
not only political. It made money.
Yes, he did both.
He made money
and then of course he used it to say, we are the good people. We are doing all this good, and
we're humanitarian.
And we're humanitarian.
Yeah,
but they were making a lot of money with it. Let's
yeah.
What people don't know,
and they still have to, because Jamaica has a similar brain drain. So when folks are leaving to go all over the place, everybody knows Jamaica's filled with Cuban doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, there was one day I'm sitting up there and like, again, I had Cuba on the brain, and went out to Port Royal, went over to the side, and what's coming out the water? Kabisile Shango. Ocean Priest and Shango. I'm like, okay, I don't have to go to Cuba just yet. They're here. Because my thing is, I went looking for, because I had just missed his bimbe. I met him like the Tuesday. Over the weekend, that Sunday, he had just had the anniversary, like for his 20th Ocha birthday.
Oh, wow.
I missed the big bimbe in Jamaica. I'm going to get it done. But it's these cultural cross norms that like I was telling them, we don't always get to have these exchanges, and unless we set them up specifically,
right?
Because we live in a space and place where, number-wise, if we get into it, the right type of room with the right food, we may appear to have numbers. Otherwise,
Right.
in terms of a general meeting, no.
Oye, yo te voy a pedir que me ayudes con algo.
Sí, digamos.
Yo no creo en ninguna organización. ¿A partir de qué? Sí, a partir de qué. Es más o menos Dios va más del sexo. Cuando yo vi el 11 de julio, lo explica todo. Como lo único que pudimos hacer por ellos fue talks and prayers.
Right.
That stopped everything. So I believe in nobody. But I believe in practical work.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes.
So yo quiero que tú me ayudes a negociar un capítulo negro en Somos Más.
Claro que sí, con mucho gusto.
Porque se trata de conversar y se trata de poner las cosas.
Te voy a poner en contacto con nuestros coordinadores y hay muchos que hacen...
No tienen que poner un peso,
No,
tienen
no.
que poner un peso. Yo tengo mi propio canal de YouTube, pero yo quiero un capítulo negro que sea capaz de nuclear 3 negros capaces de brincar de Charleston a Miami, de Miami a Charleston.
Claro,
Y si nosotros hacemos eso, otra historia va a cantar.
claro.
Otra historia va a cantar. Porque no hay fuerza política tan grande como la del negro norteamericano.
Así es,
Y los cuales nos hemos dado el lujo de despreciar eso.
así mismo. No, desafortunadamente. Pero sí.
Planteárselo en esos términos.
Sí, claro que sí.
Porque y no se trata de afiliación. Obviamente yo voy a tener que tener la afiliación. Yo estoy dispuesto, a mí no me importa. Pero se trata de esto.
Sí, claro.
Se trata de esto.
No, y nosotros, mira, Somos Más hace nosotros trabajamos con todas las organizaciones, o sea, no es solamente Somos Más. Tenemos de la democracia, ¿cómo se llaman ellos?
Demócratas cristianos.
Son tantas que de verdad que se me salen de la mente porque no tenemos toda Europa, las Américas, tenemos personas en Panamá. Yo ahora voy en un crucero a Panamá. Yo tengo un amigo panameño que es el coordinador del grupo que nos va a recoger en el crucero y nos lleva a todos lados. O sea, cuando yo llego a cualquier lado del mundo, yo tengo a alguien.
Okay.
Es así.
Well, they said we could fill a room one by one, 2 by 2.
Yes.
But not a gigantic parade. But it's not even that. It's folks not necessarily coming out. We don't really know who's here.
Well, let me tell you, what is happening here in Charleston with the Cubans is they don't want to be political.
Right.
Because they don't want to be singled out, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
In 2018, I was stopped in by the securities in Cuba, and I was not able. I'm not able to go back in because of how much I'm doing, with my activism. So you know that they'll. I mean, I was lucky I was able to get out. My husband was lucky he was able. Second time he went in 2019 because his father was dying. Basically, he had to go back. They almost kept him. He was this far from, but we're not unable to go back. And a lot of the Cubans, they want to go back. And that's what people don't understand. It's hard for us to get people to come on board and fight with us because.
Okay, listen. Yo puedo aplicar a la política una dinámica que ocurre en la literatura. Y tú sabes que todos los cubanos que vienen aquí, todo el mundo es pintor, escritor, todo el mundo.
Definitivamente.
Sí, pero lo que no nos damos cuenta, nosotros estamos formados para un modelo cuya mayor apoteosis fue en el 1950. Y nosotros estamos llegando ya a un siglo de eso. No funciona así. Funcionamos, cómo funciona la cultura y cómo funciona la política, tú a tú. Por la capacidad individual de llegar a las personas. Entonces, una vez que nosotros logramos movilizar y cambiar la opinión dentro de Estados Unidos, la cosa cambia.
Sí, es que hay que hacerlo. Hay que hacerlo. Porque
Eso es a lo que yo me dirijo.
Definitivamente. Es que ese es el mayor trabajo que tenemos. Es dar esa información, llegar a, porque la izquierda lo está haciendo muy bien.
Es que el trabajo de ellos es la propaganda.
Exacto. Ellos lo están haciendo muy
igual
muy
que porque
bien.
el socialismo le gana al capitalismo, porque lo de ellos es propaganda. Bla, 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 bla.
Ya.
¿Te das
Y
cuenta?
tenemos, y mira, yo he hecho lobbying en Washington DC, pero no, yo soy una sola persona. No se puede.
No puede.
Este mensaje hay que llevarlo nacionalmente a todos lados.
De que alguien haga el lobby por ti. Yo lo que quiero es que sean los negros norteamericanos los que hagan el lobby por los negros cubanos, y entonces se hace el lobby por Cuba.
Claro.
Y entonces va a ser efectivo. ¿Te das cuenta? Pero tiene que ser desde adentro. Desde afuera no, porque es a la defensiva.
Claro.
¿Me entiendes? Entonces yo quiero eso.
Sí,
Yo
claro
quiero
que
eso.
sí. Claro que sí. De hecho, yo tengo un muchachito que trabajaba conmigo en el canal. Mi canal se llama Let's Talk About Cuba, so you can go in and see. Y su papá, ellos están en Atlanta. Él es doctor. So, es un negro doctor, muy buena persona. So, voy a hablar con él a ver si nos quiere ayudar con esto. Yo estoy seguro.
Claro que sí. Además, yo no tengo interés en ser ni el coordinador, porque como tú ves, lo que yo tengo en mi espalda es...
Déjeme decirle que yo no lo entiendo. Porque
pero yo me voy a encargar de encontrar un coordinador. Y de
¿en qué parte de los Estados Unidos vive usted?
Miami.
En Miami.
Hialeah.
Ya. Ok. Hialeah. Oh, ok.
No es mi inglés, broken English. El poquito inglés que sabía lo perdido.
When I asked him how many languages he spoke, Spanish, French, and broken English.
You don't need English in Hialeah.
But see, that's what he said, because he said his English was better before.
Yes.
When I moved to Hialeah,
When did you move to Hialeah?
2 years ago.
From where?
From Miami Beach.
Oh, from Miami Beach.
And then I used to work in the hotels, so I was speaking English with a lot of people, Hispanic parliament people, speaking English, American people, French people, everybody speaking. I lost even a lot of French because that, and I was happy because my English was
right.
Yeah,
you need to move to Charleston.
We can balance you out. We can balance you out.
I'm looking for something more deep than that. I'm looking for Gullah Geechee. I would need to move.
We have Francophiles, but we also have to remember the Gullah Geechee have gone everywhere. Everywhere. I happen to like the returnees who are coming back in some are coming in their second phase of retirement. They retired 50s or early 60s, so they're coming back here.
But this is where it started, right?
Yeah. Is it?
So they always come back here.
For the most part, it's like some of our countries that we come from. Some will never come back.
Yeah, of course.
But those who say they'll never come back can tell you the latest news that happened.
Yeah. So, where are you not coming back?
You know that's
why you not coming back?
You know,
right?
You never leave.
You know everything that's going on. You're in the WhatsApp groups. You're in the Facebook groups. They hear everything. They have younger generations, but it hurts and you can feel for people who say, my grandaunt came back from New York and it's the first time she's been back in years, and we're driving around and they're crying because it looks nothing like what they left.
Of course.
or even if it doesn't physically look like anything that they left, none of the people that they left behind they can find.
Right.
That hurts.
Of course.
And all you can do is feel for them.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And then when you're here long enough, I'm now 12 years, and I can walk down streets in Charleston that, baby, this thing look nothing like this 12 years ago.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's, I mean, it doesn't look anything like it did 10 years ago when I moved here.
Nope, whole regions.
I mean, and every time you drive, you see more and more construction everywhere.
Yes.
But there's no lack of anything.
Yeah.
The ships that carried the enslaved now carry BMWs.
Hablemos de Cuba.
Let's talk about Cuba.
Let's talk English.
It's in English.
Yeah.
It's an English channel. Or I tried for it to be. I did a lot of translations because I had to speak to I've interviewed a lot of
today
people inside of Cuba, and I translated.
No, you know what? Today I was with the elders.
Elder Carly Town.
And
Lisa Wineglass.
To say something, and I say in English, and she told me, but you are not talking to Spanish. You can measure the openings of a Cuban for their ability in English.
Right.
So whoever can understand me, don't worry.
Yeah.
He will know hear you anyway.
Hey, like I tell folks in a minute, them translation captions, they work in a heartbeat. You know,
of course.
when you want information, you will find it.
It's no,
That's
not. No, it's this one.
Okay, put this okay.
Oh no, this is. Let's see.
Yeah, but it's a whole new world.
Algo que yo les dije a los
we just digging deeper. We ain't moving from here.
I'll send you my link. Maybe it's just bringing up everybody.
Okay, you can
I'll send you my
link. I will send you a message to let you know it's me, and you send me your link back. I was telling it's a joke, but it's a true. I told to the elder that I am opening the Gullah Geechee consulate in Cuba. In Cuba.
He ain't playing. He called him home.
I want the Cuban to know.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
So,
well, listen, I have a lot of Cuban followers that are inside of Cuba. My followers, it's incredible because I never thought this would happen. I speak more in English than I do in Spanish, and still,
let's work together.
Yeah.
And at some point, I will ask you to a meeting, a live in YouTube.
Yeah.
For the Cuban people.
Absolutely.
To know the need to talk.
A mí se olvidan algunas palabras y se me va, pero más o menos hablo bastante bien.
Pero para hablarle a los cubanos, porque yo quiero esto, igual que quiero ese capítulo en Somos Más. Yo quiero cualquier organización cubana que sea grande y que tenga presencia. Claro.
No, definitivamente podemos hacerlo. Hay un... podemos. No hay ningún problema con eso. Déjame ver si...
I don't know when life got to be Google Meetings and Zoom plugins and all this other
I don't know.
See, that's your executive life.
Crazy.
But when it starts popping up for me, it's like, my goodness. No, it is important for me, like someone such as yourself comes to town, to be able to know that there are folks who are here before you, who have been here for a while. I was telling him even more so about those who were here before you, the Johns Island community of Cubans. Iskra goes deep. Because there are people who have been here a long time. We don't just see them on the surface. And the peninsula of Charleston does not show you the fabric per se of who's here in Charleston. You got to go hunting, baby.
Okay. Okay, let's go hunting.
Déjame, se lo mando por en el Messenger. Ignacio, ¿no?
Sí. Pero yo no sé si tú me tienes toda. Oye, hoy te mandé un mensaje.
Ah, sí, es que son tanta la gente que
No
I
creo.
have to look for you.
No creo.
Because, let me see. Okay.
No creo porque yo no te tengo aquí todavía. Yo te tengo por los mensajes de
Okay.
Brenda.
Okay.
Ah, no, yo te puse hoy. Déjame
okay.
buscarlo. No. Están en los mensajes de Brenda.
¿Cuál es el apellido?
Granados, con G.
Herrera.
Sí.
Okay. We're friends already.
That's the part he was saying.
We're already friends.
Sí.
So that you should be able to grab it from there because that was one of the.
Okay.
That's when Ileana I interviewed her when she was in Cuba. Now she's out of Cuba, you know. She's.
Ileana, what de la Ileana?
Ileana Hernández. Ella fue una de los que estuvieron en la casa con Luis Manuel Herrera.
Ah, Alcántara, Manuel Alcántara.
Luis Manuel Alcántara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I interviewed a lot of people from that era, actually. So yeah, I mean, I'm willing to work together, and anything you need from me, we'll connect. Send me your phone number, and I'll.
786.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I thought I did that. I didn't do that.
Maybe you did.
And there's something
Yo te voy a
about.
mandar un mensaje.
Okay.
Esto es increíble. Los teléfonos son algo increíble. Yo solo toqué ahí en lo que me mandó ella, y solo está poniendo, te acabo de mandar un mensaje que dice Ignacio.
Okay, pero seguramente. Mira aquí, ya.
Yeah, it was there before. I just resent it.
Okay, perfect. Yep.
Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, alright. So this one.
Iskra González, ¿no?
Perez Salcedo.
Perez Salcedo. Yo no sé de dónde sé que es González.
Ahí.
Ok. Ya. Iskra Perez Salcedo.
Listo. So yeah, I mean, anything
Hold on,
I
this
can
sucker's on the schedule.
Yes, and
Do your glass of
well,
water.
she's no. Hold on, she was. I'll take that. Go back.
¿Tú le hablas?
It's going back home.
Well, go charge then.
Well, so what happened
Come out your
was
hiding
I
spot.
have her on for 2 o'clock. So I figured by the time you guys got here, she would be done. But she didn't have enough battery, so she stopped halfway through, and then she went back to charge herself. And now she was gonna
This
come.
is the
she was gonna-
Jetsons come alive.
Yeah, she was gonna complete her work for the day.
But you know that you have to understand the poor girl. The poor girl.
The problem is that she doesn't work on the weekends.
Let her ask for vacation. Let her ask for vacation. Let her ask for vacation and
We
syndication.
laugh about this all the time. This
They
is,
have better be versatile. There's a pool outside you need to go make use of. Oh God, that's frightening.
Can I get you guys anything else?
No, I am perfect. I think the most important. Okay, this history I will edit and make a documentary.
We got to see you. That's
Okay,
super.
yeah.
I think the most important part is the link.
Yes,
You
of course.
got the link.
Me, I'm going
And
back.
you're going back to Miami tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
Back to
But now, but I
Same
am getting along with me. I'm having along with me, so
Yeah.
that's great.
Brenda, the other day, the memories came up on Facebook of when we had the racata. ¿Cómo se llama?
Rácata. ¿Cómo es?
Mira, esto fue Brenda que tiró esta foto. El ballet Racatán y Turquía y vinieron a Charleston.
Oh my God.
a bailar y a cantar en uno de los festivales. Los fuimos a buscar al otro día y los traímos a todos para acá. Estábamos ahí en el patio, en la piscina.
Wow.
They had a great time. Eran 20 y pico personas. Mi esposo rentó una guagua para buscarlos.
Cuando hacen ese festival del Caribe, ¿tienen algún ciclo de conferencia o algo así?
Sí, Lorna es la que la hace. Lorna es la...
Okay.
¿Tú conociste a Lorna Beck?
No sé.
Well, Brenda, que te puede poner en contacto con ella. Lorna es la que está encargada de eso.
¿Te quedó más café hecho?
Sí.
Porque está delicioso.
Miren,
Está súper dulce, pero...
Para mí estaba muy dulce, pero bueno.
No, está súper dulce, pero me encantó.
Maybe está en el... No.
It's just a spray in the spot. Look at it, just pure sugar coming out.
You want more?
Tap, just a tap, and my egg wouldn't be happy. You're like, oh, we had fun.
Yeah.
In the right cup, no less.
Yes, in the right cup.
I told you I was hanging out with Poopy.
¿Conoce a Carlito Madrid?
No.
En YouTube.
No.
Busca el YouTube channel de Carlitos Madrid.
Okay.
Mira alguna de sus cosas. Él tiene el programa de él se llama Datos No Datos No, a ver, ¿cómo se llama? Datos No Idea o algo así. Él lo que da son datos. Se llama así Carlitos con K. Carlito Madrid.
Ok, lo voy a buscar así.
Es un muchacho, él está en Madrid, pero es un muchacho que tiene muy buena, o sea, él fue maestro en Cuba, so cuando pone un show de un YouTube es con muchos facts.
Okay.
You know, he's got a lot of tiene programas de José Martí, de antes de la revolución, o sea.
Por cierto, mírate, una cosa que te voy a mandar es una serie que hice que se llama La Sombra del Ala, por el verso de Martín, que son una serie de entrevistas con un historiador contando la otra historia de Cuba.
Ay, ¿cómo se llama el historiador?
Adolfo Martí Brenes.
Brenes es amigo de mi esposo. Tienes que conocer a mi esposa. Yes,
It's a small world after all.
Bueno,
when Cubans start to talk, somehow we're all connected.
Yes. Pues Brenes me dio una serie de entrevistas haciendo la otra historia de Cuba.
Ajá.
¿Me entiendes? Cuestionando todo.
Buenísimo.
Desde la muerte de Martí, desde la prepotencia máxima,
Sí.
todo.
Sí.
Y llegamos.
Brenes is very good.
Y fuimos desde la muerte de Martí hasta la revolución.
Wow.
Son una serie de documentales que todos son entrevistas con él.
Wow.
Y se llama La Sombra del Ala.
Entonces, usted conoce a... ¿Conoces a Brenes? Tienes que conocer al señor... Ay, soy mala
Yo no me llevo muy bien con los amigos de Brenes, con los que él tienen, porque son... Tú sabes, en Cuba no tienen problema.
Sí.
Y él solo me entiende perfectamente. Los cubanos hablamos.
Ajá.
Todo el mundo tiene una opinión.
Yes. Y más en Miami.
Entonces, imagínate tú, sos un gallinero. Yo no quiero eso. Porque si todo el mundo tiene una opinión, yo también tengo la mía. Vamos a meter aquí.
Claro.
Entonces, y no se trata de eso, no es eso. ¿Me entiendes? Entonces yo lo cogí a él porque él sí me pone datos sobre datos. Ahí. Y él me enseña ahí. Y entonces, por eso lo tengo ahí.
Orlando Luis Pardo Lazo, ¿lo conoces?
Sí, como no conoce esa parte. Pero a mí el parte no me gusta.
No.